Okay, Patrick, the general theme today is the timing, how to use the metronome. All right, so got my handy dandy metronome right here. Okay, it's on 73. See, 73. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just show you or give you kind of some ideas to work with as far as working with the metronome. Um, you were probably taught to use, um, in a lot of cases, you would use the metronome for your individual notes, like if you're doing scales and things like that. I have it on 73, and I think we went over this last summer. Um, you could kind of go and just play like a little pentatonic. Um, okay, so if you're doing like the individual scales or you're doing some like melodies, um, to understand the time signatures of those melodies and the types of notes involved with that, like your quarter notes, and how all those things, like or if eighth notes or 16th notes, how you condense those to go into a 4/4 or 4 beats per measure. That's where using that kind of method for your metronome, like doing it on each of those clicks. That's how you would use it. So that's what you were taught before. This other way of using your metronome is kind of unconventional. It's more geared for like if you're playing in a band or you're accompanying someone, um, or if you're doing like this type of a project where you're going to do a song and it's going to be a solo work, but you're fitting like the beat in there and the rhythm and all those things, and you're combining them to make one big project or work. This is how you would use your metronome. You're going to kind of use it as like almost like a drum machine, or like a drum beat, except it just clicks, right? So it's just kind of keep you in beat. All right. So when I play a song like "Stand by Me," we have this. We have the when you're we have that. Um, but when we use the metronome, if we're having problems keeping the beat, because what usually happens is a song like "Stand by Me," when you're going, right? What usually happens is when you're doing all of that, you can easily go off your timing, right? That can completely go out the window because there's a lot of things going on there. All right, so you don't want to start off using your metronome and doing that. You want to take it step by step so you understand measures and how to work within the measure of those songs. All right, so that's why I set it to 73. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hear those clicks, right? So I press play. That high pitch is that's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm listening to that, and what I'm going to do is you're going to see my knee pop up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you don't have to bring your knee all the way up, but I'm just showing you got to tap that foot, right, and match it to those beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, so when you match it, what comes next, or what you can also do, I think that would work equally as well, is just kind of, right, just bop the head. So you know what I mean? You don't have to like do one of those, but you just kind of, while the foot is tapping, right? So what's going on is you're inside, internally, what's going on is you're kind of making an imprint on how the beat should sound, right? I'm gonna, follow me if you will. It's if you put your hand over your heart, or if you feel your pulse, it's going to a certain beat, right? Okay, so it's like, what do they say, 120/80, that kind of thing. That's a beat. That's a measure. That's a time signature that's going on. Those are the beats within each breath that you like inhale and then you exhale. That's a measure, and what's inside of that are the beats. All right, those are your heart beats. You see what I'm saying? Or your pulses within a breath. So how many times does your heart beat when you inhale to exhale, right? So this is the same kind of thing. Internally, that's actually what's going on, right? So you're going to use that for your timing when you play a song, right? So when you're listening to a metronome, it's going in here, and you're going to absorb that information. You're going to process it, and you're going to kind of memorize it, right? And you won't even realize you're doing it because you're becoming more familiar with that sound. And the more you hear, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even count to 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. You do that, right? When you count, even when you count, you're going to associate it with that, right? So we're going to use that, and we're going to go to step number 2. Step number 2 would just be strumming the chords. Don't put the bass line in there. Keep everything simple. It's almost like you're putting layers on your fine work, right? So, we're now just playing the chords, and you're going to strum down. You're going to hold that for 4 of those clicks, 4 beats. Ready? So this is how it should sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to put more into it. Right? And then you could add your bass line into it. Then you could tap there, right? The idea is when you strum first, and then you slowly start to add things in there, you're going to understand that that's occupying that whole space of time which consists of 4 beats. This 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you realize that, you're going to naturally want to fit a little bit more in there, because what you may just actually get bored just strumming the chord for 4 beats. So you may want to just that's all within the 4 beats. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. For me, I like to mute the strings and kind of like strum a little bit. But that dead time where you're just like strumming for 4 beats, you're going to naturally start to do your bass line in there. When you do that, you'll get the concept. You'll understand exactly how that works, because it'll be a matter of you already know what that 1, 2, 3, 4 is, right? Do not concentrate on going 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't do that. Feel that beat. Feel the beat. Don't 1, 2, 3. Don't analyze it. You're going to get lost. That is why you start off, when people analyze the beats, and they're not absorbing it, naturally absorbing the beat. What happens is when you're just kind of analyzing it, you become detached from the beat, right? So when you're detached from it, it's like you're pointing to it on a sheet of paper. So you're not really familiar with it. You have to listen to it, take it in, and become the beat. Become the beat, right? So that's why the head does that, and that's why you're tapping the foot. It's almost like you're doing a little dance. Your body's doing that because it's becoming in sync with the beat that it's absorbing. That's the most important part of it. So don't, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you playing and stuff, because what'll happen is you'll get lost in there trying to figure out technical things. Don't do that. Let everything just flow within the natural beat. And so that's 4 beats in a measure, and you can do a couple of things. Watch. Okay, so what I just did there was just from working with the strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Because once you're absorbing that beat, you're just going to want to add stuff to it, right? So if I'm doing all of that stuff, you got that bass line, so just layer it. You don't have to go crazy and stuff with, like with the stuff I was just playing, but play the chord first, strum it, and then you're going to be feeling that beat, and you're just going to naturally go into the. I'm adding the percussion, but you could just. So play around with your metronome, get to know it, absorb it first, feel the beats, I would play around with the tempo that works best for you. I suggest you kind of work slowly, not too slow, but work within the range of 70, in the 70 bracket, and play around. You use it as like a drum beat, right? And just play around with it. Absorb the sound first, and then start putting like different things in there. Add some things in there. Get a feel for the concept, right? Go back to strumming, right? And then add that bass line in there. And work very slowly, and it will flow nicely if you do it a certain way. Don't rush it. Do not rush it. Okay? Yeah, this metronome will be your friend, man, and it will help to keep you in line. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon. God bless.